Hi, friends and family. This is Ron again. Just coming to you again to try to do my small part to keep the stress levels as low as possible in a stressful time. Coming to you as a financial person with deep experience, a lot of experience. I'm a financial planner. I've been doing this economic and financial advising since 1988. There's my certificate on the wall up there, which I pointed out before. What I want to do now is kind of address the, being caught with your pants down unprepared, and what that means, and how we logically come to a place that helps us reduce stress. This coronavirus, it's almost like an act of God catching everybody off guard. And you don't prepare for that. Of course, you have your safety net cash. The social system has its safety net. But kind of liken this in a way, or think about it in a way, of like a major blizzard that comes through, and it takes out the power. And the first thing you worry about is the storm so bad that the crews can't get out there to restore the power? And you start worrying about how long will the power be off? How quickly will your home get cold? If it goes on for days, will pipes burst? And if those pipes burst, will the precious antiques in the house be in threat of ruin? What happens to everything in the refrigerator and the freezer? And so things that hit you and hit you off guard, the initial response is to go to a lot of those places of, what if? And it's okay. Being caught off guard is being caught off guard. It's nobody's fault. It's just a simple thing of reality that happens from time to time. But the message I want to deliver today is, just as it's okay to be caught off guard, it's really not okay to be unprepared to bring about a restoration of normality. And it's time to begin to reduce some of that stress, not because we're going to be Pollyanna, but because in other ways we've emotionally been through difficult times where we've been caught unaware, and we've managed to emotionally recover. And we typically do that by preparation. You take the stuff from the freezer, you put it in some boxes, and you stick it out in the storm. Okay, frozen food saved. And you begin to do some preparations for what it's going to be like for recovery. Our government is deep into the planning process of what recovery might look like. It'll likely happen in stages from a governmental standpoint. And it will likely happen in stages in our lives, how our justice system begins to operate normally, how our education system begins to operate normally again. So hopefully our educators and administrators are deep into the planning process for what the restoration of normality looks like. There continues to be a great deal of unknown, so of course it makes some of the planning process of, how do we plan for restoration, it makes for some difficulties there. But in planning, you can't plan for the unknown unless you put aside your necessary safety elements, and that's kind of the best you can do. But you can plan for recovery. And we do know information. We know that a bill was passed in the Senate. We know that it's absolutely unique in a number of ways. What it does in terms of reaching into the nooks and crannies of the economy in very, very unique ways. And what's particularly inspiring is the ways that it's getting directly to human beings. It's never been done before. It's quite awe-inspiring. And of course, elements of that bill, go towards the healthcare system. They go towards the restoration of large companies where none of this was their fault. But unlike the bailout bill, bills that we saw coming out of 2008, 2009, there's a lot more restraint, a lot more oversight this time around. It's not perfect, but it's going to be a lot better than it was last time. So the opportunity for shenanigans all the way through this process are reduced. But we need to keep in mind that there's a lot of money involved here. Why should we have some stress relief? Well, our Federal Reserve Bank has said they're going to take the top off of what they can do. Well, we know they did $4 trillion of intervention in the 2008 2009 crisis. So we ought to assume they're going to do at least that. And they've signaled that they're going to be prepared to do at least that. The bill that just passed the Senate is looking like $2 trillion. We had on top of that the roughly $700 billion that's come in. What happens when you declare a national emergency, declare a state emergency, when you have the power to shift the uses of money within the federal government from one place to another. We total all that up and it's around $700 billion. So we're looking at about $6.7 trillion, unprecedented, reaching into nooks and crannies of society and the economy in ways that have never been done before. What does that mean? Where will it go? We have to start thinking about those things and how that begins to develop a process of restoration to normality. So I was here about a week ago, saying, hey, financial markets have been through extraordinarily difficult times before and have recovered. This is an extraordinarily difficult time. It has unique components to it, to be sure, but we'll come out of this as well. So my advice here, again, it's not any specific form of investing or specific strategy. It's simply one of the ways to begin to reduce stress is to begin to start thinking about, what do I need to do in order to bring about normalcy in my life as normalcy returns, and begin to plan for that. And as you do, you're going to feel a lot better about the processing ability that you have as an individual. Our education systems will feel a lot better about their capability of starting the education system back up. Our government will feel a lot better of what it means to phase in normalcy. So if we all pull together in planning for recovery, just as we all needed to pull together in so many things, including holding down stress for each other and understanding that we've been in difficult places before, let's start supporting each other and helping us all understand what it means to return to normalcy and what we can do as individuals, organizations, enterprises, businesses, government, to bring about normalcy when that comes. So again, this is just my little tidbit of trying to help do my small part in reducing some stresses because it's time. We could reduce stresses before, we can reduce them now. No Pollyanna, just being rational human beings acting in a rational manner. So I wish you all great health. I wish you all a great week, and I wish you all a speedy recovery, both from a health perspective, from a financial perspective, and from a normalcy in your life perspective. Want to get in touch with me on Facebook? But until then, I'm going to say good health and good fortune. Bye-bye.